What's up, everybody? It's your girl, Angie Fox, in the house, and so happy to be rolling with you all today. I thank God for each and every one of you that is joining us on you know what it is, the number one empowerment platform in the land. Yes, it gives me great honor and pleasure every time I get to sit and chill with you all and just share with you all what God is doing. But I am even more honored today because I don't roll alone. I roll with my brother. I want to introduce to every one of you a brand new, I call him a brand new brother because I'm just meeting him for the first time. He may not be new to you, but I am honored to have him in the house with me. None other than Mr. Kenyon Glover. How are you, my brother?
Hey, I'm good. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored to be on this platform. So thank you.
Thank you for saying yes to the invite. I was referred to you or brought to your attention. My attention was brought to you, or you brought to my attention by a very dear friend of yours and a sister of mine. And I'll call her name for the sake of being the conduit that God used to bring us together. And that's Miss Latanya Armstead. She is a very dear sister and friend. She also has her own show on this platform. And she did a shout out to you on social media. And I noticed it. Well, in risking my husband getting mad at me, I noticed it because you're very good looking to the eye, for one. You're very pleasing to the eye, but what she posted about you was very endearing and called you a very good friend. And I asked her about you, and I wanted to know more about who you are, because if you were that type of brother, a young man that is a mentor and motivator, my ears began to stand up, my antennas, if you will, and I needed to know more because that's what we are about, connecting with like-minded men and women who are doing the work to help change lives all around the globe. And when she told me about you and told me that she would have you to reach out to me, she kept her word. And I thank God for her. And I thank God for your calling me, because you are one of the ones that I've been looking for. So I can read your bio to the entire world and it's going to sound good. But I would rather you tell us who you are, Mr. Kenyon Glover, because who you are is the reason why you're here with us right now on this platform. So tell us who you are.
Who am I? I'm a man born and raised in Monroe, Louisiana. So I am a country boy. And I've pretty much been around the world. You know, I started off in playing professional sports. I was a professional athlete for a little while. I played overseas, played in the NBA for a short stint. So I am a former NBA player, college degree. And I'm a person that has overcome 4 suicide attempts. By the grace of God, God brought me through 4 different suicide attempts, dealing with depression, anxiety, and a lot of different other things. Now I'm a minister. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm a filmmaker, actor, and I'm an award-winning author. So now my mission is to help impact the world. I want to help be an advocate for those people who may be dealing with depression, mental health. I want to help them find hope. I want to encourage people. I want to lead people out of that. I want to lead people out of that darkness, because I know how it is to be in that dark, sunken place. So now it's my mission to be used by God to lead people out of that darkness and give them hope and be a light in this world.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You said it best. And I am so happy that you overcame those suicide attempts. You know, I hear people tell me that all the time, but now I know what that's like. Like you, I also suffered from that and attempted suicide more times than I can count, but we're still here to talk about it.
Still here.
And not just talk about it, but to help someone else not to have to go that route. So thank you for using your journey, your life experiences to now help other people. So one of the things that you said in your introduction and also in your bio is that you are now not just a minister, not just an actor, a filmmaker, but you are a motivational speaker and a mentor. So do you mentor young men or men and women?
I mentor everybody, but mostly young men. That's been pretty much the majority. of people that I mentor as young men. I mean, anywhere my youngest is, I think he's 4 or 5 years old, and my oldest is, in his 30s. So it's no age limit, really.
No age limit.
A lot of people come to me just for help, just for encouragement, because they know my journey, they know my struggle. So whoever comes to me just looking for help or looking for some guidance or want me to pour into them, I open it. I'm welcoming to anybody. Whoever wants help, whoever wants encouragement, I'll be there for.
Got it. How transparent are you when you are mentoring and helping individuals?
I'm very transparent, because I feel like if you're transparent, people will open up to you more. People want to trust you more.
Yeah.
Because when you're transparent, they show that you're not going to hide nothing. So they're not going to want to hide nothing from you. So they're more prone to open up to you. So I'm very transparent when it comes to dealing with, anybody. When I'm telling my story, when I telling my battles and struggles, I'm very transparent and open.
So when you went through the suicidal attempt, through that part of your journey, were you already successful playing ball and writing your books and doing some of the things that you do now? At what point in your life were you suicidal?
Well, the first incident came after my NBA career ended, because I had a career-ending injury that ended my career as an NBA athlete at an early age when I just got started. And that happened to me, and I was forced to retire from the sport I love, the sport I trained for all my life. And I was forced to give it up when I just got started. And I just accomplished my dream, and I had to give up my dream, so soon, because of a career-ending, unfortunate incident. And that pretty much started the journey of suicidal thoughts and my first attempt at suicide.
Okay, so how do you go from being an NBA player, even though I understand your career ended, to being so low that you attempt suicide? How do you jump there? And how did your life drifted? How did your life drift to the point where you were that low after? Because young people will look at you, or I would look at you and think, man, you made it to the NBA. That's big time. Even though you didn't stay, you made it there. So how did it drift from being on the top, as you say, and I maybe answer my own question, to being so low in the valley that you thought that you should just take your own life? Because it doesn't sound like you were living a bad life to the point where bad things always happen to me. So how do you go from being on the top of the valley, the top of the mountain, to so low in the valley that you decided that it was best to take your own life?
Well, at that time of my life, at 20, I think I was 23, 24 years of age, I didn't know how to deal with that kind of devastation. I was young, and my career was just taken from me. My dream was just stripped from me. So I didn't know how to handle that at that age. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to talk to. I was just immediately in depression. I didn't want to deal with anybody. I didn't want anybody trying to encourage me, telling me, oh, it's going to be okay. You're going to make. I didn't want to hear any of that. My dream just got snatched from me from an unfortunate incident, an injury that just ended my career. And I can no longer play the sport I love, the sport I've been training for since I was 7 years old. I can no longer do this. So I didn't know how to handle that kind of devastation at that time. And
the anger that you experienced from this, because mine started from unforgiveness. There are always root causes to what we allow to grow in us and become a part of us, which for us and others like us is that suicidal mentality. For me, it was unforgiveness, holding unforgiveness against people that hurt me. Mm-hmm. It sounds to me like your root cause was anger from losing what you say was your dream. Would you agree with that?
I'll agree with that. Absolutely. Anger, disappointment, frustration, all of that. Yeah.
And you know why I wanted to point that out? Because so many times people think that mental health is being diagnosed as bipolar, schizophrenic, or now that depression is becoming more prevalent or more known because people are talking. Most people don't tend to equate extreme anger and disappointment and those things as causes for or the root of what turns out to be mental health issues. Because unresolved or unhealed, prolonged bouts of anger and disappointment, extreme disappointment and hurt will turn into your mindset changing and becoming poison to the point that your mental health now is not good.
Right.
Because to end that, unfortunately, many of us who experience that think that the end of it, the answer to it, is go ahead and just take your life.
Yeah.
That put an end to it.
Definitely.
So you mentioned that you tried 4 times. You attempted suicide 4 times. Talk to us about that. How did that transpire in your life?
Well, after the first attempt, after God saved my life on the first attempt, I mean, I put a gun to my head the first time. I put a revolver to my head and pulled the trigger twice. And the gun jammed. This was a brand new gun, and the gun jammed both times. So at that moment, if you're not a believer in God at that moment, then you just crazy. At that point, I knew there was a God that just saved my life and intervened and stopped that gun from going off. Because I took the gun outside the 3rd time and shot it in the air, and the gun went off just fine. The 3rd time I shot it. So if that wasn't a sign for me at that moment, that changed everything for me. You know, I definitely became a believer in God at that point. But as times went on, of course, I ran into more problems. I was hit with different issues, life circumstances.
Yeah.
You know, going through different battles and struggles and adversity and people and family and financial issues and divorce and all these kind of things. And then a lot of those things start weighing so heavily on you, and you in so much pain and hurt, and you just can't cope with so much stuff weighing you down. And those pretty much came from the other 3 attempts, you know, just dealing with life circumstances, and you just wanting that pain and agony to go away, because it don't seem like it's going away. It seems like it's continuing to pile on you, and you just want it to go away. You don't want to be in pain no more. You don't want to think about it no more.
Because for the sake of those listening, because when I hear you, although I can relate to what you're saying, when I hear you talk and you say that when you knew it was God that saved your life, when the gun didn't go off, anybody, I would say, normal thinking somebody, or rational thinking somebody would think, well, that should have been the end of his suicidal attempts. And at that point, it should have turned everything around. But as you explained, life kept happening. Disappointments kept coming. Failures, all that happened. And you continued and attempted suicide a few more times after that.
Right.
Now, I know from experience that sometimes you see that in other people, but when you meet these people that you mentor or God allows to come your way, and they need an answer to that, because they too themselves may be experiencing life happening and may have had a miraculous event to take place to show them that God has them, God got me, but they still don't have the strength or the wherewithal to be able to continue moving upward. They fall back in that dark valley again, as you did, and began to attempt suicide again, whether they're thinking about it or actually attempting. So how do you handle that when that is presented to you by someone else? Because rationally thinking, you would think that should have been your turnaround moment. You know, but life keeps happening as long as you keep living. So how do you help somebody go from, I've had my but God moment, but I still want this pain to end, so I'm going to try it again?
You know what? It comes down to realizing that everything that I've been through was for a reason. You know, the Bible says all things work together for our good. So those things work together for my good in the end. Of course, I see that now. But when I'm dealing with other people, I have to get them to see the bigger picture. You know, get them to realize that everything you're going through, there's always a season. There's going to be seasons of pain. There's going to be seasons of hurt. And there's going to be seasons of joy and ups and downs and trials and tribulations. But all those are working out for your good. So don't look at it as, man, I'm going through pain, I'm hurting, everything's going wrong, but everything is working out for the good. Eventually, something good is going to come out on the other side of that.
Yeah.
There's goodness on the other side of that. There's success on the other side of that. There's positivity on the other side of that. But you got to go through the process. It's part of the process of becoming everything that God wants you to become. If you were called for a certain thing to do from God, you got to go through the process. You know, you can't rush to get to the destination.
Right.
But during the process, it's meant for you to grow. It's meant for you to mature. It's meant for you to evolve. It's meant for everything that God put in you. It's meant to be pushed out of you, because that's the part of the test. We're all going to be tested. We all got to go through it. It's no escaping the pain and hurt and trials and tribulations that we all have to go through. It's no escaping that. But as long as
what was your turning point?
My turning point?
Yes.
3 years ago. 3 years ago was my last suicide attempt. 2020. This is right during the heart of the pandemic, during the heart of COVID. July, I tried to suffocate myself with carbon monoxide. And I remember passing out. And I'm thinking, okay, this is it for me, you know? And it's so ironic, because when I woke up out of, my whatever, I guess I was asleep. When I woke up, I heard a voice. It was so crystal clear to me. It said, enough. That's all I heard. Yeah. The voice said, enough. And it woke me up. And I looked around, I'm thinking somebody was because I was in my car at this time. I'm looking around, I'm thinking somebody was in the car with me, and there's nobody in the car. But the voice was just so clear, precise. It just said enough. And I knew that was the voice of God telling me, enough, Kenyon, enough with these suicide, enough is enough, okay? So after I heard that did it for me. That did it for me. And I said, you know what? Lord, I give up. I give up trying to take myself out. Obviously, I'm meant to be here. Obviously, I'm meant to be here for a reason. So I'm done. After that, I said, Lord, I'm done. I'm yours. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. I commit myself. I surrender to you. I submit to you wholeheartedly. And ever since then, I've been totally 100% bought into what God wants to do with me.
Awesome. Now, how does your family fit in with this? Are your parents still alive?
Yes, they're still alive, yeah.
So how does that, because I remember when I first told my testimony about overcoming suicide and depression, my mom and dad were alive, and they both looked up and said, who are you talking about? Who? They didn't know that 17 years of my life, I was trying to kill myself. They thought every time I did, and they found out I was in the hospital, it was accidental. They didn't know until I shared my testimony in Bible study one night that I actually was trying to kill myself all those years. And it hurt them. They became supportive after the fact, realizing what was going on, but initially it hurt them. So how did your family react during this time? What part did they play in your overcoming?
You know what?
Suicide? Yeah.
What's funny is none of my family knew about any of this stuff. I didn't share any of it with them. I went through all of this by myself. I didn't share any of it. My parents actually just found out all of this probably a year ago. They didn't know I went through it. They didn't know I was struggling from depression. They didn't know I was struggling with mental health. They didn't know I tried to commit suicide. I didn't want to bring my family into, especially my parents. I didn't want them to worry. I didn't want them to, just try to get me to come home and move home. So I just kind of went through it all by myself. I went through it alone. So they didn't know anything. They didn't know what was going on with me. They thought I was living a good life and happy and whatever. So I kept them out of it.
Needless to say, when you were on the phone with your family members, you were smiling and giving them what they needed, the Kenyon that they thought was living his best life. So sounds like you, my brother, mastered living a lie.
Yeah.
Behind the facade. Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that brother. I met him. I met her sister. I know his sister. Yeah, master that lie, living that, and the people looking on never could tell that you were indeed suicidal and hated living. That's something. So when you meet those young brothers and young sisters, and even the older ones, and you recognize that in them, how much work is it for you to get them to understand, like you said earlier, that there's success on the other side. There is happiness and joy on the other side. There's a life to live on the other side. How hard is it for you? Because I know it's not an easy task, being that mentor, that advocate to help somebody to live.
Right.
You know, how hard is it, or what do you do to bring somebody over to the other side?
The success I've had so far is to continue to let them know that you are really there for them, that you're going to always be there for them, to be a positive voice in their ear. It comes with consistency. You have to be consistent. It's not one of those where, you know, you can talk to them one day, you may not talk to them for months from now. I try to be very consistent with everybody that comes to me, or if I want to mentor them, I try to call them, you know, not every day, but, you know, maybe every other day. I call or shoot a text or whatever the case may be. It comes down to consistency. And when they see that you really care, when they see that you're being consistent, when they see that, wow, this dude is really on it, like he really wants to see me succeed. When they see that, when they can feel that, it encourages them. I've found that out, that it keeps them encouraged, it keeps them positive, because they know that there's somebody that's went through the same thing that they're going through, and it's like you're in the fight with them. They feel like you fighting with them. You know what I'm saying? So they don't feel alone anymore. They don't feel alone anymore. And when people don't feel alone, it kind of empowers them. So that's the success I've had as far as finding out how I can help them get to the other side.
So really, you don't have time to be selfish.
At all.
You know, I find that a lot of times my time is not my time.
Right.
I have to be available for those that reach out and need the help, or those that I have committed to helping. If you cross my path and you need what God has put in me and brought me through, then I have to make the time to give you that.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for availing yourselves to help save so many lives. Now I'm gonna ask you one last question. What is your greatest inspiration?
My greatest inspiration is to be able to help other people. I mean, that's why God kept me here. That's why I'm still here after 4 suicide attempts. I'm not here by accident. I'm here to help as many people as I can. So I launched Faithful and Focused Ministries, my own ministry, which is a global ministry. I launched that to help empower millions. Faithful and Focused,
Yes.
So
I love it.
I started that ministry in order to help as many people as I can. I want to go global and empower people, uplift people, and be a light in this world. So that's my inspiration, is be able to change people's lives and lead people out of that darkness. It's no greater feeling. It's no greater feeling when people come to you and say, you know what, man, you saved my life. Because of you, I'm inspired. Because of you, I want to live again. And I hear that so many times. So that just inspires me. It keeps me going every single day.
And we are one of the movements started for the very same reason, to be able to help and inspire others. So we started that ministry for the very same reason that you started Faithful and Focused. So Faithful and Focused is housed where?
Amazon.
So we can purchase this on Amazon. Look, everybody, go to Amazon and get your copy today. Faithful and Focused, Conqueror. All right now, by Kenyon Glover. Get yours today, and not just to support this young brother, but to read and help. Because what I like to do is I like to purchase the books and then read them and then pass them on to somebody else who can benefit from it as well. So we're going to get a few copies here in the office, and we're going to incorporate Faithful and Focused into what we do here at We Are One, the movement. And on this platform, this entire platform is about empowering, inspiring, motivating, and encouraging men and women, boys and girls, to live their best lives, fulfilled, successful, productive, and effective. And we can't do that unless we're whole and healed. So I can't say thank you enough, because I've met my twin. Our stories are similar. I know the journey may be different, but the mentality is very familiar. And the action behind the thought is death. So what we do now that we can't die, couldn't die, God knows we couldn't live in the state that we were in. As healed and whole individual, men and women of God, we have to be aggressive about helping to change the lives. So let's make sure we get our copy today. Faithful and Focused, Conqueror, Volume 1, Kenyon Glover on Amazon. Now, Kenyon, you have a second book that you wrote.
Yes.
The Rebirth and Resurrection of a New Man.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And talk to us about that, because we want everybody to get your books, and then we want you to tell us how we can reach you, how we can follow you. We're going to be adding to your list of name tags, your show here on Empowerment Podcast Network coming soon. But in the meanwhile, we want to know how we can follow you and glean from all that you are giving and pouring into all of us, God's people. So talk to us first about the rebirth and resurrection of a new man.
Well, that was actually the first book I wrote back in 2020, Rebirth and Resurrection of a New Man. And that came inspired by the suicide attempt that I told you that I tried in 2020. After God saved me, after God said enough was enough, that inspired the rebirth and resurrection of a new man, because after that encounter with God, after that last suicide attempt, I was a changed man. I was reborn and resurrected a new man after that. So that's how that book came about right there.
So you know what? Every one of you listening to this broadcast today, whatever day it is that you're listening to it, go out and get your copy, Amazon.com, and get your copy, The Rebirth and Resurrection of a New Man, Faithful and Focused. And that is so important. Those two things are key to maintaining your deliverance. I found out that to be true also. As you continue to help and pour into others, you remain faithful and focused to what God has called you to do. Yes. And I am so glad that you heard his voice and obeyed and said enough is enough. Right. And began to give yourself totally to him and let him change you and make you the man that he called you to be. I'm telling you, my brother, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to bringing you to Sumter soon. I'm looking forward to bringing you to Sumter. Not only are we going to partner together, we are one, the movement and Faithful and Focused Ministry, but I just believe that there are some great things in you that you need to share with. I know you're already traveling around the world. I know you're already going different places, and little old Sumter just probably can't hold you, but we will have to bring it here anyway. And I will be talking to you more about that, because we are coming live on in one of our venues here, the Patriot Hall, September 16th. So I'm going to be talking to you about that and seeing if you're available, because I would love to have you on that stage and sharing about you and helping us to minister to and mentor men that day, especially men that day. We're going to have men and women in the house. It's a woman and men event. So we definitely would like to have you on stage with us and doing your thing. So we're going to talk more about that. I want to say it now so that the listeners can know that it's coming in September. So get ready. Y'all will get to meet this brother in person, and he will be autographing some of those books. So now, Kenyon, just tell us how we can meet you, how we can follow you, how we can find you on social media, and continue to hear all that you're pouring out, and also not only hear your messages, but also support your ministry and learn more about you and your books. Talk to us about how we can follow you.
So I'm all over social media, all the social media platforms. I'm on Instagram under my name, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Just search my name. You know, it's not too many Kenyon Glovers out there, so I'm easy to find. Also, check out my website, kenyonglover.net and kenyonglover.com. My books are on Amazon. I have a movie also on Amazon Prime Video called Cheaper to Keeper, so go check that out.
Indeed.
We got another movie coming out this summer called Lady Wisdom. I think it'll be on Amazon Prime as well, or Hulu, one of them. So yeah, big things coming.
Okay, let's talk about these movies, because you are a filmmaker.
Yes.
So are you writing the script for these movies, or? Are you just an act? Are you an actor, one of the actors? Talk to us about the movies. You just slid that in it and kept going. Talk to us about the movies.
So the one that's on Amazon Prime right now, I'm just an actor. I'm one of the main actors, called Cheaper to Keeper. So Cheaper, the number 2, Keeper. So go check that out. It's a really, really dope movie. It's a comedy. It's a romance comedy. So you're going to love it. Lady Wisdom will be out this summer. So be on the lookout for that as well. So I'm just an actor in that as well.
Okay. So do you write movies or plays though?
I do. I have about 3 movies right now that I just finished writing, and we're going to be producing later this year. Okay,
so just in case you all are wondering why I asked those questions, I just wanted y'all to know he's something like a big deal. So, I'm going with that. So check him out. Kenyon, Kenyon, Glover, Glover. Go ahead and Google him, find him on all social media platforms, and check out everything he's doing as he's building the kingdom and helping to change lives one at a time. Young brother, you're doing your thing. I thank God for you. I am honored to have met you, and I'm glad to have you on our podcast platform. And I am looking forward to your show. Everybody, I want y'all to hit him up and tell him y'all looking forward to his own talk show, as if he needs one more thing to do, but it's calling.
Right.
We need him on this platform. So we need your own show. We need a Kenyon Glover show, faithful and focused. I'm gonna go ahead and let the board of directors members know that we got a new show coming soon. His brother is bad. So we're going to be talking more about that. But I just want to say thanks again for being here, and thank you for taking the time to meet us and share your journey with us, and continue letting God use you, my brother. Continue mentoring and empowering and helping and strengthening and building up God's people, and letting your journey be the catalyst for helping so many. Thank you. And I'm so glad you didn't kill yourself. I am so glad that you are here with us to continue the work that God started in you. So we're looking forward to speaking with you more, booking you to come this way and hang out with us and share with the audience here in South Carolina more of what you're doing. And we're going to be pushing even more of your social media on our platform and advertising your books and your plays. So I'm looking forward to even having you with us. And we will be talking about partnership with We Are One the Movement and Faithful and Focused Ministry, so that we can all continue together, coming together and building up the kingdom of God. So thank you. I can't thank you enough, but thank you again anyway. So
thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It was truly an honor. So yeah. God bless you all.
God bless you too. Have a blessed night, and we will be talking again soon.
Right.
So hey, everybody, it's your girl, Angela Fox. Remember, stay tuned in to the #1 podcast platform, the #1. That's empowermentpodcastnetwork.com. Check it out. Kenyon Glover is our guest tonight, and you heard some great things. We want to follow him and keep him covered and keep watching him. So stay tuned for more, much more coming on Empowerment Podcast Network. Love you all. Thank God for you. Holla at your girl.
You've just been listening to We Are One with your girl, Angie. Thanks for rolling with me today. Come back every Monday at 12 noon for more on overcoming depression and a suicidal mentality.